Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and this is the review for episode 5 of the Acolyte. And this time, it actually did something I liked. Yes, that's right. They actually did one thing that I liked, which we'll get to. This episode, of course, picks up right after the last episode where Smilo Ren showed up. And there's a lot of things to kind of nitpick at. And when I say nitpick, I mean it's just annoying. What is this episode about? Well, it's basically a gigantic fight. That is all this episode really is. It's Saul fighting Smilo Ren, while at the same time Jackie, which is Daphne King's character's name, finally found that out, fighting May, while Anakin blew up the Death Star dude, and Osha run away through the forest. Literally, that's all this episode really is. They want to keep the mysteries going in this show. What mysteries are left? Why the Jedi are hated by May and her mothers and stuff is basically the only mystery left now, because we discovered in the first episode that they were twins. We discovered in the first episode they had mothers, no fathers, By episode 3 or 4, May had changed her mind and become, I'm gonna be a good guy now. And in this episode, yes, we get the reveal of who Smilo Ren is. And yes, as I said in the last review, after the leaks came out, it is in fact none other than knockoff Asian Ezra Miller. There was no, oh, it's a woman. No, it's him, full on. Yes, he does say the Jedi would refer to someone like him as Sith, so they are confirming. They try then to make it as if, no one found out about the Sith, because he says, anyone who sees my face must die. We know people from this are going to survive, like Osha and stuff, so they would have seen his face, so we know that's BS. He doesn't have a name, like he's not a Dart something or another. He's no name. Apparently all he wants is to be able to use his powers without the Jedi telling him he can't, and he wants an apprentice. That's it, that's all he wants. And then says he didn't make the rules, the Jedi did. Yay. Now, literally, there's no big kind of story plots kind of discussed in this. There's no like revelations of, oh, this is why this person's this, or that's why they're done that. None of that. What we do get in this episode is cannon fodder. Literally everyone dies, and I do mean practically everyone. All the Jedi that came down with Saul, Charlie Burnett's character, with like Odin or some weird bleeding name, whatever the fuck his name is, Daphne King and all that, yeah, they all die. And so does Daphne King and Charlie Burnett. Yeah, she gets stabbed like 3 times by Jedi are bleeding Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller stabs her 3 times and snaps Dumbo Hole's neck. Yay. Yeah. And how do they defeat him? Well, we knew the bugs were going to come into play somehow. The ones that are attracted to light. When they showed us that in the last episode, and then immediately told us. So yeah, we kind of saw that. They bring them back to where Saul and Smilo Ren are, and Osha sticks the head of Pip onto his back, turns it on. It's a big like flashlight, and the bugs come down and take him away. And you think, is that it for him? No. They fly away with him. You think he's dead, but he doesn't. You just see them later on falling out of the trees, and he drops down. It's not a scratch on him. It's like, oh, okay. May betrays Osha again, basically. Osha actually takes the shot this time and stuns her. Then she starts having a conversation with Saul after they get rid of Smilo Ren, and she's like, why did he say I shouldn't trust you? And he's like, I'll explain everything. Right as he says that, you see behind him something being forced up, and it was May forcing up the stun gun and she stuns him, then them two have a conversation of, oh, you know, May's basically, you betrayed us and the Jedi brainwashed you and all this crap. And she's like, bitch, you tried to kill me. And if it wasn't for the Jedi, I'd be dead. They end up having a little fight and May knocks Osha out. And then decides to disguise herself as Osha to go with Saul. Now this is where this is stupid. She fights Jackie, you know, tries to kill her and everything. She fights May. She runs away from them all. When in the previous episode, she literally is like, I'm just going to turn myself into the Jedi. And it's like, why are you all of a sudden, once again, trying to be bad, but also not be bad, but totally try and be bad? Like, it's so stupid with this character. It's terrible writing. That's what it is. There's no conversations. There really is, like, no conversations that merit any kind of delving into. There's literally nothing. And how does May disguise herself as Osha? She sticks a lightsaber to her face and cuts her hair. So she just shortens her hair and puts her clothes on. And all I can think is no one going to be able to notice the big white circle tattoo on your fucking forehead? And can no one sense, like, hey, wait a minute, I'm sensing something different here. You're not fucking Osha. Which brings me to why Smiler Ren has such a ridiculous helmet. Which, by the way, is saber-proof. Not just can sabers not penetrate it and stuff, it breaks lightsabers. He has it on because it's basically like a Magneto helmet. By the way, when Magneto keeps his helmet on, Charles Xavier can't read his mind. Exact same thing. He just thinks that Jedi can't read his mind if he keeps his helmet on. Yeah, okay. When Jackie comes fighting him, this is hilarious, right? She's fighting him. She's got Kalnaka's lightsaber and her own, but he breaks hers. Now, when they say break, they don't like break where they're unusable. They just turn off and stutter for a few minutes before they turn back on. He grabs her or something. I can't quite remember exactly what way it goes, but she ignites Kalnaka's lightsaber, and then her own one reignites. So. And he looks shocked, even with the helmet on. He's like, oh, because it's the case of, uh-oh, she's got two lightsabers. And continues to try and fight her while she's using two lightsabers. Later on, after he kills her, and he's going to take someone else, or he's going to fight Saul or someone, his lightsaber disconnects and becomes two lightsabers. All I could think of when that happened is like, Mother Humper, why did you look surprised to think, uh-oh, she's got two lightsabers, how am I going to fight against that? When your saber becomes two lightsabers. It's so stupid. Now, here's the part that would be nitpicky if it just wasn't so irritating, because it's really stupid. And it's the Force. The Force seems to only work when they need it to work. And what I mean by that is, we're watching Smiler Ren fighting all these Jedi. So, by the way it starts is Osha wakes up. She looks up, she sees it. There's nothing around. She finds Pip, goes walking, falls into this red dust, looks up, there's a dead Jedi in front of her, looks up, and she's standing exactly in the spot where Smiler Ren released that Force push, and you see a few dead Jedi. You don't hear anything, you don't see anything until you do, and then you hear the lightsabers, and she looks over and you see all the Jedis fighting Smiler Ren, except Saul. You don't see Saul there. So Charlie Burnett gets a slice in the leg, so he kind of falls out of action, while all the rest of them come cannon fodder. But Smiler Ren is every now and again using the Force. He's like pushing them away or whatever, and it's like, why isn't anyone else using the Force? Why isn't someone behind him using the Force to try and stop him moving his arms? Which is where we get to the one part that I did like. One of the female Jedis runs at him and he stabs her through the chest. It's a woman, so she'll probably be okay. But he uses the Force while he's holding her with the saber. He uses the other hand to use the Force to grab one of the fellow Jedis that's standing behind her to pull him into her back so the saber goes through him as well. That was the part I liked. It was like, oh, they actually used the Force and a lightsaber to effect, finally. And he beheads them, but you don't see them being beheaded because the camera goes behind a tree. But other than that, they're constantly using the Force here and there, but nowhere else. It's like, why aren't you just using the Force? Like, Charlie Burnett screams at Osha, Osha, run! And he's Smiler Ren watches her run, does nothing, and then just walks after. Like, why don't you just use the Force and pull her back? But, why not? When Jackie fights May, one of the first things she does is Force push her, and then never uses the Force against her again. I'm like, why aren't you using the Force? She puts one handcuff on her and starts arresting her and telling her what she's under arrest for with one arm in a handcuff. It's like, why don't you completely cuff her and then tell her? No, and then they just have like a kung fu fight with each other. But Jackie never uses the Force again. Here and there they're using the Force, but then they forget. And when people run away, they're like meant to be miles away, but they turn around and the person who they left behind is standing next to them. It's like, how the hell did you get there so quickly? Smiler Ren keeps vanishing like he's Batman. Seriously, they're fighting him. They'll spin around and turn back and he's gone. It's like, where'd he go? It's like, is he Batman? How is he just vanishing like this? But the lack of like the Force being used when you're seeing them use it, like they're using it to pick up lightsabers, but then they're not using it to push someone away that's running at them, or use it to grab someone and pull it towards them. It's like, oh Jesus Christ. So there's no big conversations or anything in this. The conversations, again, the main conversation really is between Osha and May, and it's literally nothing. It's just you betrayed me. No, you betrayed me. That's all that conversation really was. That Basil thing is running around. He finds the head of Pip and comes running onto the ship and seems to maybe know that it's May and not Osha. Don't know. And it ends with Smilo Ren finding Osha, and he's just saying some stupid shit. You're just like, what? Well, she's unconscious, and he just puts his jacket on her, and that's where it ends. This episode actually felt very short, thank Christ. It's only like 28 minutes long, without, that's probably without, or maybe it is with the previously on, which I just skip, and however long the credits are. I've never actually watched the credits to see how long they are, because why bother? But that is the episode. Overall, it's yet another nothing burger of an episode, and I do not know how there's still 3 episodes of this thing left. There is nothing left, and as far as I'm aware, we're still to get a flashback episode, another, I should say, flashback episode. So like, everything basically is being revealed except what the Jedi did on the witch's planet that Tobin offed himself for, and Saul seems to feel guilty for. Well, I suppose we'll probably find out in the last episode. I have no idea what the rest of this series is meant to be. I don't even know how it's gotten this far, because everything is being revealed. It's just nothing. And of course you're going to see them all jumping online now going, this is the best episode yet, and all this crap. It's like, if you think that was great just because the saber fights, okay. By the way, this has to be the episode that they were talking about that was going to have a lightsaber fight that was on par or better than the Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon and Darth Maul saber fight. Yeah, no. It's fast. I'll give it that. It is fast. However, I think it's fast because they sped it up. But it's miles better than any of the saber fights you saw in Ahsoka. That's for sure. But other than that, there's nothing left to say about this episode, because there's nothing else that happened in this episode. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.